Bette Davis was born Ruth Elizabeth Davis on April 5, 1908, in Lowell, Massachusetts, and from an early age she showed a streak of fierce independence that would later define her legend. After her parents divorced, Davis was raised primarily by her mother, Ruthie, a determined woman who instilled resilience, discipline, and ambition in her daughter. This upbringing shaped Davis into someone unwilling to bend easily, especially in a world that often expected women to be agreeable and compliant. Her early exposure to theater ignited a passion that quickly became a calling rather than a pastime. Davis trained at John Murray Anderson's dramatic school in New York, where she developed a seriousness about acting that set her apart from her peers. She was not interested in glamour or popularity. She wanted truth, intensity, and emotional honesty. Even in her youth, Davis approached acting as work, demanding, exhausting, and deeply personal, laying the foundation for one of the most uncompromising careers Hollywood would ever witness. Breaking into Hollywood and refusing to be decorative. When Bette Davis arrived in Hollywood in the early 1930s, she entered an industry that valued beauty over depth and obedience over originality. Signed to Warner Brothers, she quickly found herself frustrated by shallow roles that failed to challenge her. Unlike many actresses who quietly accepted their assignments, Davis pushed back. She wanted characters with flaws, sharp edges, and emotional weight. Her breakthrough came with Of Human Bondage in 1934, where she portrayed Mildred Rogers, a cruel, manipulative woman with no interest in being liked. The role shocked audiences and critics alike, not because Davis softened the character, but because she refused to. This fearless performance redefined what a leading actress could be and established Davis as a serious dramatic force. Her expressive eyes, later immortalized as Bette Davis eyes, conveyed rage, longing, and vulnerability with extraordinary precision. From that moment on, Davis was no longer just another contract player. She was a woman who demanded to be taken seriously, on her own terms. Stardom, awards, and a reputation for excellence. As her career gained momentum, Bette Davis became synonymous with excellence and intensity. She won her first Academy Award for Dangerous in 1935 and followed it with a second for Jezebel in 1938, achievements that cemented her status as one of Hollywood's finest actresses. Over time, she earned 10 Oscar nominations, a record-breaking accomplishment for her era. Davis gravitated toward roles that explored inner conflict, moral ambiguity, and emotional endurance. Films like Dark Victory, Now, Voyager, and The Letter showcased her remarkable ability to transform suffering into strength. She had little patience for superficial performances, whether her own or those of others, and this uncompromising standard earned her both admiration and friction. Directors trusted her instincts, even when she challenged them. Audiences came to expect performances that were raw and unforgettable. Davis did not chase stardom, she chased substance. In doing so, she elevated the standard for actresses across generations and proved that longevity in Hollywood could be built on courage rather than conformity. All About Eve and the Power of Reinvention. Few performances in film history are as enduring as Bette Davis's portrayal of Margot Channing in All About Eve, 1950. At a time when Hollywood often discarded actresses over 40, Davis leaned into the reality of aging with wit, intelligence, and ferocity. Margot Channing was sharp-tongued, insecure, commanding, and deeply human, a reflection of Davis herself. Her delivery of iconic lines, including "Fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy night," became legendary not because of clever writing alone, but because Davis infused them with lived experience. The role marked a triumphant reinvention, proving she could adapt without compromise. Rather than resisting change, Davis used it as fuel. This period also reaffirmed her relevance in an industry obsessed with youth. She did not ask for sympathy. She demanded respect. All About Eve was more than a comeback. It was a declaration that talent, when sharpened by honesty and discipline, does not fade with time. Battles with the studio system. Bette Davis's career was not only shaped by performances, but by her willingness to confront power. In the 1930s, she famously sued Warner Brothers, challenging the restrictive studio contract system that limited creative freedom. Though she ultimately lost the case, the lawsuit was unprecedented and sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Davis became a symbol of resistance for artists trapped by unfair contracts. She was often labeled difficult, but what studios truly resented was her refusal to settle. She demanded better scripts, stronger characters, and equal respect. This defiance came at a cost: suspended contracts, public criticism, and strained professional relationships. But Davis accepted those consequences without apology. She believed that dignity mattered more than approval. Her actions contributed to gradual industry change, paving the way for future actors to negotiate creative control. Davis understood that progress rarely comes from silence. By standing her ground, she transformed personal struggle into collective impact, reinforcing her legacy as not only a great actress, but a fearless advocate for artistic integrity. Love, marriage, and personal turmoil. Bette Davis's personal life was marked by intensity, devotion, and heartbreak. She married 4 times, each relationship reflecting her longing for stability in contrast to her demanding career. Her first marriage to Harmon Nelson faltered under the strain of her rising fame. Her second husband, Arthur Farnsworth, offered warmth and normalcy, but his sudden death in 1943 devastated her. The loss left a lasting emotional scar that friends noted changed her profoundly. Her third marriage to William Grant Sherry brought motherhood, a role Davis embraced with determination, yet the relationship deteriorated amid clashing expectations. Her final marriage to actor Gary Merrill began with promise but unraveled into volatility and eventual divorce. Davis was not an easy partner, nor did she pretend to be. She lived with intensity in every aspect of her life. Love for Davis was not soft or simple. It was as demanding and uncompromising as her work. These relationships, though painful, shaped her emotional depth and informed the vulnerability she brought to the screen. Rivalries, reputation, and misunderstood strength. Throughout her career, Bette Davis was frequently portrayed as combative or cruel, particularly in stories about rivalries with other actresses. While professional tensions certainly existed, most famously with Joan Crawford, many accounts were exaggerated by the press. Davis spoke bluntly, disliked pretense, and had little tolerance for dishonesty, traits often celebrated in men but criticized in women. She believed competition was inevitable in an industry built on scarcity and visibility. Rather than hiding her ambition, she owned it. Her sharp remarks, though often quoted, were rarely meant to harm. They were expressions of frustration in a system that pitted women against one another. Davis respected talent deeply, even when personal relationships were strained. Over time, her reputation hardened into myth, obscuring the discipline, loyalty, and generosity she showed to those she trusted. What some labeled arrogance was, in truth, self-preservation. Davis refused to diminish herself for comfort, and that refusal became one of her most defining strengths. Later years, illness, and final honors. In her later years, Bette Davis faced significant health challenges, including strokes and breast cancer. Yet her determination never faded. Even as her body weakened, her spirit remained formidable. In 1989, just days before her death, Davis traveled to Europe to receive an honorary award at the San Sebastian International Film Festival, a testament to her global impact. Frail but resolute, she appeared before audiences one final time, accepting recognition with characteristic dignity. She passed away on October 6, 1989, in Neuilly-sur-Seine, France, at the age of 81. Her death marked the end of an era, but not the end of her influence. Davis had lived fully, fought fiercely, and refused to retreat quietly. She was returned to Hollywood and laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, beside her mother. Even in death, she remained connected to the roots that grounded her ambition and sustained her resilience throughout a lifetime of battles won and lost. She did it the hard way, a legacy that endures. The words engraved on Bette Davis's tombstone, "She did it the hard way," serve as the perfect summation of her life. Nothing was handed to her easily, nor did she want it to be. She earned her place through discipline, courage, and an unyielding commitment to truth. Davis redefined what it meant to be a powerful woman in Hollywood, challenging beauty standards, gender expectations, and institutional control. She played women who were flawed, aging, wounded, and strong, long before such portrayals were acceptable. Her influence extends far beyond awards or box office success. It lives in every actress who refuses to be decorative, silent, or disposable. Davis's legacy is not one of ease, but of endurance. She proved that strength does not require likability, and that authenticity often comes at a price worth paying. In choosing the hard way, Bette Davis carved a path that others continue to follow, and for that, she remains unforgettable.